time, you will know what it's like to lose. To feel so desperately that you're right, but to fail all the same. Dread it. Run from it. Destiny still arrives.
What's good, YouTube? You're in the building with the all-knowing, all-loving, all-feeling, all-seeing, all-powerful, Mr. Damn All-Everything, the sexy as hell host of the Life Gains channel. We're bringing you a very sad message today, and this is a good rest in peace to the man, Stan Lee, who taught me something that I've taken throughout my whole life, which was, with great power comes great responsibility. And I just want to say to the family, I'm giving you well wishes. I'm wishing you positive energy. But his family is not just his immediate family. His family is everyone in pop culture for decades. This man did comic books which transcended time, which turned into pop culture movie marvels. And I am deeply saddened that he has passed. I'll talk about what we feel like is going to be his lasting legacy. And to get the conversation started, guys, let me know, what was your favorite Stan Lee cameo? Here are my two favorites.
Oh, man. Anyway, before I was so rudely interrupted, at that time, I was a Federal Express man.
Hey, fellas. Hey, wait, where are you going? Hey, you were supposed to be my lift home. How'll I get out of here? Hey, gee, I've got so many more stories to tell. Guys, gee.
Answer the question! David, you must answer the question!
Stan Lee touched so many people because we have to say he was one of the world's most renowned storytellers. And those stories have impacted people for decades, giving them an opportunity to come together when it seems like right now things are tearing us apart. Stan Lee also made it cool to be a nerd and to believe in space and science fiction and all the things we nerds believe in. And to further talk about this, I'm gonna go ahead and put on my +7 glasses of the sexy as hell to commemorate the man that also made it cool to wear glasses, Stan Lee. If we were to have asked Stan Lee what would be his favorite character and also which character would leave a lasting legacy, I would say Stan Lee would definitely say Spider-Man. Spider-Man was one of the first characters he's gotten on TV and in the movies. He starred in a cameo in 2007 with Spider-Man, and it took off mightily. For me, the movie that left a lasting legacy and his character was definitely Black Panther, because when he invented Black Panther, it was in the height of the civil rights movement, when a lot of people didn't think that the comic would do anything, because you were sending these books to military people, you were sending them around to a customer base that was predominantly Anglo-Saxon. And Black Panther hit it out the park with great stories of Black Panther being an African king. He took on the Fantastic Four and defeated them single-handedly by himself. And that transitioned into the Black Panther movie, which was one of the biggest movies in Hollywood history. And it had such great lessons in that movie. And Stan Lee worked hard to make sure that they could portray everything he was saying in the comics when him and his team originally made the comic book, that it could be portrayed and embody a nation coming together and people coming together that had different side missions or different side struggles. Having said all that, I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys see a little bit of a news clip that kind of embodies and tells you the complete history of Stan Lee from beginning to end. And while we're watching that, I just wanted to know, what do you guys think is also his lasting legacy? For me, other than the Black Panther character and all the characters he's done, because I fell in love with a lot of them, the Hulk, you name it, I would have to say he is one of the world's best storytellers. That's a lasting legacy. And again, someone that made it cool to be a nerd. Take a look at this news clip and then we'll finish this video.
Spider-Man, Iron Man, and the X-Men. They're among the most iconic comic book heroes in history, and they simply would not exist without Stan Lee. The visionary behind Marvel Comics lived a life almost as incredible as the characters he created.
I'm pretty proud of the fact that some of the stories that I wrote so many years ago are still being read and hopefully enjoyed by the public, and people are making motion pictures based on them and television series.
Spider-Man debuted in 1962 and became Lee's most successful comic book creation.
Spider-Man is my favorite because he's the most popular and he's known and loved worldwide.
Lee's spidey senses were tingling. Years later, in 2002, the first Spider-Man film was released and was a blockbuster hit.
As a child, I didn't really know anybody who shot webs or crawled on buildings or wore suits of armor and flew or anything like that. I just imagined them, and there they were.
He also imagined Thor, the Incredible Hulk, and the Fantastic Four. They were flawed people with extraordinary powers.
I never had any idea that these characters would last this long. In fact, I and the people I worked with who co-created them with me, the many talented artists, we just hoped that the books would sell and we'd continue to get our salary and be able to pay our rent. The movies have done so much for the characters. The movies have given the comic book characters even more prestige.
The native New Yorker was born Stanley Morgan Lieber. He had humble beginnings, but his love for comics took him much farther than he ever dreamed. He also earned a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
In a million years, I never thought, that I'd get something like this.
As his creations became larger than life on the big screen, he also kept a feverish pace, making appearances at events like Comic-Con in San Diego.
How are you? Glad to see you.
Though his life seemed charmed, it wasn't without adversity. Lee was married to his wife Joan for over 60 years, and they had 2 daughters. However, his youngest only lived for a few days. In his 80s, Lee was involved in various lawsuits against Marvel and Disney over the span of 7 years. In September 2012, he had surgery for a pacemaker and joked he was trying to become more like his Iron Man character, Tony Stark.
To me, the most important thing in the world is to keep busy, and I'm happy to say I'm lucky enough to still be busy.
The Stan Lee Foundation was also a passion project for Lee, who seemed to believe with great power comes great responsibility.
What we concentrate on is education, educating children.
Stanley!
I never would have dreamed years ago that anything like this would happen.
The king of comics, who was adored worldwide, was most proud of his family and his comic heroes. Perhaps Lee will be remembered as a legendary innovator with an uncanny ability to capture the imagination.
Excelsior!
Well, that was it, ladies and gentlemen. This is my tribute to Stan Lee, a man who I've never met, but has had such a huge impact in my life that has helped me get through a lot of things, through the characters he created, through the narratives he's created in those characters, and just also being a person who was so tangible to his fans whenever you seen him out at the Comic-Cons and events. And he just worked from day one to the very end. He was already working. If you're wondering about if he's going to be in cameos going forward, he's going to be in the next Avengers movie. He's going to be in the Spider-Man movie coming out. And then I think he's got one more cameo in another movie. And, again, well wishes to the family, positive energy to his family. And this man leaves a legacy of creating a family, not just in the comic book realm, but a worldwide legacy of fans. And that's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like my video, comment, and subscribe. Go get yourself a life game. Stan Lee, you will be missed. Rest in peace.